the father's bosom, and he came down and he wants to exercise his authority just the way he depicted in the Garden of Eden, by working along with his creation. In the cool of the day, coming down and walking along with his creation and showing his love, showing his respect, showing his, because I gave you authority, I will not interfere in your authority. You take the charge, my son. And that was the kind of assertive leadership that he exercised. And going forth, this Ancient of Times meets the Ancient of Days in Daniel chapter 5 and chapter 7 and so on and so forth. Let me go to Daniel chapter 2. There is another king who thinks he is the best of the kings. He thinks he is the best of the kings, just the way today's America is, or just the way हमारे पूज्य और हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री Narendra Modi Sahab, just the way he thinks he is. The Nebuchadnezzar also thought the same way. I am the king over this country. I am the king over this. At that time, actually, the nation was, this nation particularly, Nebuchadnezzar's nation was like America today. And he felt he is the actual king, and he sees a dream. In his vision, he forgets what he saw, but he's very troubled in his heart. And he calls upon all the wise men and he asks, "Are bolo bhaiya, what's going on? What's happening? I'm really troubled." And that's when the dream in Daniel chapter 2, the Daniel went to the Arioch whom the king has appointed to execute the wise men of Babylon, and said to him, "Do not execute the wise men of Babylon. Take me to the king. I will interpret the dream to him." Now the challenge is he needs to tell the dream and interpret it, which the king has forgot. Right? That's the context. Your majesty looked, and there before you stood a large statue, an enormous, dazzling statue, awesome in appearance. The head of the statue was made of pure gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet pure. It's partly of iron and partly of baked clay. While you were watching, a rock was cut out, but not by human hands. It struck the structure on its feet of iron and clay and smashed them. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were all broken to pieces and become like chaff on a threshing floor in the summer. That's the rock that we are talking about this morning, my brothers and my sisters. There are kingdoms that came and thought we are supreme. There were kingdoms that came and thought we reign over this world. We are, sarvabhaumulamu. We are sovereign people. They think like that. They think like that. The gold, the silver, the iron, and the baked clay at the foot, which give the foundation of those kingdoms, are baked clay and iron. They are together, and it appears to us like they are together. But they are not, because there are differences. And that is what, over a period of time, Daniel explains in his 42nd verse. And the toes were partly iron and partly clay. So this kingdom will be partly strong and partly brittle. And just as you saw, the iron mixed with baked clay, so the people will be mixture and will not remain united any more than iron mixes with clay. Just the way iron doesn't mix with the clay, the rulers of these kingdoms they want to divide and rule. And we think division and ruling, or divide and ruling, is what white men do. But divide and rule is a universal principle, my brothers, my sisters. Because of the fallenness of man, it is a part of white man's culture. It is a part of Aryan culture. It is a part of Babylonian culture. It is a part of Greek culture. It is a part of universal manhood. It depends on divide and rule. And God, and we go to the roots. When we go to the roots, how did they divide and rule? That's what Satan did in the Garden of Eden. It divided the unity and ruled over them. The division brings, control. Division brings control, and that's the reason we are ruled over by Satan. by dividing us into smaller fragments of society. In the name of caste, they divide you. In the name of religion, they divide you. In the name of color, they divide you. In the name of the way your nose is arranged, they divide you. In the way you have, your hair grown, they divide you. In the name of the color of your skin, they divide you. In the name of regions of this, continents and small subcontinents and states and little districts, also they divide you. This is in our DNA. And Jesus comes forth at that time. He meets the Ancient of Days. The Ancient of Times meeting the Ancient of Days. The rock cut out without any hands or without any human's effort. Jesus talks about his church that he is going to establish, where people from every caste, people from every creed, people from every background will be one body. And that body which talks about equality, one body which talks about fraternity, one body which talks about universal brotherhood. No matter which country you're born in, no matter what language you speak, no matter what culture you belong to, every culture, every language formed and in the likeness of God, looking in the face of God, looking at the face of Jesus, transformed into the face of Jesus day by day, we become that rock and crush the ideologies of this world. Ideologies that divide you. Ideologies that make fun of your unity. Ideologies that wants to rule over you. And Jesus sits on the donkey in a very